Welcome back to our channel for another deep dive into the daily drama of Los Angeles. Today is a fantastic day to unpack the explosive corporate and family warfare shaking the foundations of Forrester Creations and the Spencer Empire. Let's get right into the heart of the latest shocking developments. The atmosphere inside the towering glass walls of Spencer Publications has always been one of predatory anticipation. But nothing could have prepared the legendary Bill Spencer for the cataclysmic shift that just walked through his office doors. For weeks, the patriarch of the Spencer family has been meticulously laying the groundwork for a ruthless corporate takeover, a hostile expansion of the Logan brand designed to completely obliterate Forrester Creations. He summoned his son, Wyatt Spencer, back from his self-imposed exile, fully expecting his golden boy to return as a hardened soldier ready to execute this corporate warfare. The rumors swirling around Los Angeles suggested that Wyatt might be bringing his former flame, Flo Fulton, back into the fold. However, the reality of Wyatt's return has shattered every preconceived notion, throwing a massive, unpredictable variable into the heart of the battlefield. Wyatt did not return alone, and his companion is not Flo Fulton. When the heavy mahogany doors of Bill's executive suite swung open, the air in the room seemed to evaporate. Wyatt Spencer stepped into the room, exuding a protective, almost defensive posture, gently guiding a woman whose presence in that specific building is nothing short of a seismic anomaly. It was Ivy Forrester. But it was not just the shocking reappearance of the Forrester outcast that left the usually unflappable Bill Spencer utterly speechless. It was the undeniable, prominent curve of her silhouette. Ivy Forrester is heavily, visibly pregnant. In a single, breathless moment, the entire landscape of the Los Angeles fashion and corporate war was irrevocably altered. The child she carries is not merely a baby. It is the physical manifestation of two warring dynasties. The backstory of this shocking reunion adds layers of profound complexity to an already volatile situation. Far away from the toxic, smog-filled battlegrounds of Los Angeles, Wyatt and Ivy found themselves on the sun-drenched shores of Australia. Sydney provided a sanctuary, a neutral territory where the heavy burdens of their respective family names could temporarily be stripped away. Wyatt, seeking distance from the relentless demands of the Spencer legacy, and Ivy, licking her deep wounds after a disgraceful, scandal-ridden exit from Forrester Creations following her disastrous manipulation of Elektra and Will, found solace in each other's shared understanding of familial alienation. What began as a chance reconnection blossomed into a deep, passionate romance, culminating in the creation of a new life. They found a haven in each other, but by returning to Los Angeles, Wyatt has dragged their fragile new family directly into the epicenter of a nuclear war zone. For Bill Spencer, the initial shock of seeing a Forrester in his inner sanctum evaporated in a matter of milliseconds, rapidly replaced by the cold, calculating gleam of a corporate shark smelling blood in the water. Bill does not view the world through the lens of sentimentality. He views it through the lens of leverage, power, and domination. Where another grandfather might see a joyous addition to the family tree, Bill instantly recognized the ultimate weapon. This unborn child is the heir to both the Spencer Empire and the Forrester legacy. It is a biological bridge that Bill can weaponize to exert unprecedented psychological and public relations pressure on Ridge, Eric, and most importantly, Steffy Forrester. Bill's mind immediately began racing with the Machiavellian possibilities. How could he use the narrative of a Forrester heir being raised in the Spencer stronghold to humiliate his rivals? How could he leverage Ivy's status to extract corporate concessions or force Forrester Creations into a corner they cannot escape? However, the predatory excitement radiating from Bill's stands in stark, heartbreaking contrast to the palpable terror emanating from Ivy Forrester. Standing in that imposing office, clutching Wyatt's hand, Ivy is not a willing pawn in a billionaire's chess game. She is a deeply vulnerable, expectant mother who is paralyzed by the impending reality of her return. Her fear is not abstract. It is intensely specific and entirely focused on one woman, Steffy Forrester Finnegan. Ivy knows better than anyone the sheer, unyielding ruthlessness of which Steffy is capable. The wounds of their past conflicts are still fresh and bleeding. Ivy's recent history with Forrester Creations is a dark cloud that follows her every step. She did not leave the company on good terms. She was practically forced out, utilizing her maternity leave as a convenient, face-saving cover for a disgraceful exit after her manipulative, destructive schemes against Electra Forrester and Will Spencer were exposed. To Steffy, who is currently ruling Forrester Creations with an iron fist, halting Hope Logan's fashion line, and acting as an uncompromising tyrant, Ivy is the ultimate traitor. Steffy already views Ivy as a manipulative liability who brought chaos into the family business. Now, returning pregnant with the child of the enemy, the very family currently trying to destroy Forrester Creations, Ivy knows that Steffy will view her not just as a traitor, but as a Trojan horse. The psychological torment Ivy is enduring is profound. She wanted a safe, loving environment to bring her child into the world, a dream she built with Wyatt in the quiet isolation of Australia. But Wyatt, driven by a complex mixture of loyalty to his father and a desire to reclaim his own power, has brought her back to the very place that destroyed her peace. Ivy's internal conflict is agonizing. She loves Wyatt desperately and believes in the family they are creating, but she is acutely aware that her child is about to be born onto a battlefield. She envisions the screaming matches, the corporate sabotage, and the inevitable moment she has to stand face-to-face with Steffy, knowing that Steffy will use every ounce of her power to crush her and invalidate her place within the Forrester legacy. Wyatt Spencer, standing between his ruthless father and his terrified partner, is walking a dangerous, razor-thin tightrope. His motivations are fiercely protective, yet tragically misguided. He genuinely believes he can shield Ivy from the crossfire. He envisions a scenario where he can be the aggressive corporate architect for his father's Logan brand expansion, while simultaneously maintaining a peaceful, insulated home life with Ivy. But Wyatt is blinding himself to the fundamental reality of Los Angeles. You cannot sleep with a Forrester and wage war for a Spencer without being torn to shreds in the process. Wyatt's declaration that this baby is the future heir of both families was meant to be a statement of strength, a unification of power. Instead, it was the ringing of a dinner bell for his father's worst instincts. The ripple effects of Wyatt and Ivy's shocking arrival do not stop at Bill's desk. They're already causing a massive, devastating fracture within the Spencer family itself, specifically regarding Liam Spencer. Liam has been riding a wave of vindicated euphoria lately, with his wife, Hope Logan, finally reaching her breaking point with Steffy's condescending leadership, defecting from Forrester Creations, and secretly signing a contract with the Logan brand. Liam felt that the stars were finally aligning. He envisioned the ultimate Spencer-Logan alliance, a unified front capable of bringing Steffy and Ridge to their knees. He eagerly anticipated Wyatt's return, believing that he and his brother would stand shoulder to shoulder, brothers in arms, executing their father's master plan. The revelation that Wyatt has aligned himself with a Forrester and is starting a family with one feels to Liam like a profound, unforgivable betrayal. Liam's feelings of abandonment are raw and deeply rooted in their complicated sibling history. He looks at Wyatt and does not see a brother returning to the fold. He sees a compromised soldier sleeping with the enemy. Liam's paranoia is instantly triggered. How can they trust Wyatt to execute a hostile takeover of Forrester Creations when the mother of his unborn child is a Forrester? How can Wyatt be ruthless against Steffy when Steffy is his child's family? Liam feels entirely isolated, believing that Wyatt has prioritized a reckless romance over their shared family legacy and their strategic war against their greatest rivals. The dynamic between the two brothers is rapidly deteriorating into a bitter resentment. Liam, who has spent years navigating the exhausting emotional whiplash of the Forrester women, cannot fathom why Wyatt would willingly chain himself to that family. especially now. He views Ivy not as a victim, but as a massive liability, a leak in their corporate armor. Liam's frustration is compounded by his father's reaction. While Liam sees a compromised brother, Bill sees a strategic advantage. This divergence in perspective is creating a toxic triangle of mistrust within the Spencer leadership, threatening to derail the Logan brand's expansion before it even fully launches. The atmosphere in Los Angeles has never been more suffocatingly tense. The corporate war was already reaching a boiling point. Hope's secret defection is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode in Steffi's face. Shauna Fulton has made a chaotic, highly publicized return, threatening to reignite a destructive love triangle with Ridge and Brooke. And now, the revelation of a Spencer Forrester baby introduces an emotional volatility that no one can control. The battle lines that were once clearly drawn between companies are now hopelessly blurred by bloodlines and unborn heirs. As the days turn into weeks, the inevitable collision course will reach its devastating climax. Steffy Forrester is a woman who demands absolute loyalty and punishes betrayal with a scorched earth policy. When she discovers that Ivy has returned, not in disgrace, but empowered by the Spencer family and carrying a child that ties their legacies together forever, Steffy's wrath will be biblical. She will view the pregnancy as the ultimate insult, a deliberate provocation orchestrated by the Spencers to infiltrate her family. The confrontation between Steffy and Ivy will not be a mere argument. It will be a visceral, emotionally violent clash of titans, with Ivy fighting for her child's right to exist in peace, and Steffy fighting to protect the sanctity of the Forrester name from what she perceives as a Spencer infection. Meanwhile, Bill will continue to turn the screws, utilizing every paparazzi lens and media outlet at his disposal to spin the narrative of the new heir, expertly twisting the knife in Eric and Ridge's backs. He will use the child as a shield and a sword, forcing the Forresters to choose between fighting the Spencers and alienating a member of their own bloodline. The psychological warfare will take a harrowing toll on everyone involved, pushing relationships to their absolute breaking points. In the end, Wyatt's dream of a unified future may turn out to be the very catalyst that burns both families to the ground. He has brought a spark into a room filled with gasoline, and the resulting explosion will leave no one unscathed. The boldest and most beautiful tragedy is unfolding, proving once again that in Los Angeles, love is never just love. It is leverage, it is war,